Hello, 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 everybody, or whoever's out there anyway. Hey, I just went live, so I'm going to give it just a couple of seconds just to see if anybody else pops on, because I'll probably repeat myself a couple of times just because things are just really, really crazy with this new conjunction with Saturn and Jupiter. We not only had Saturn and Jupiter this year, and that Saturn and Jupiter is going to happen on the 21st, but we've had three conjunctions, big conjunctions this year. And those were with Saturn and Pluto, Jupiter and Pluto. We've just had some really, but this one here is called a grand conjunction, and I'll get on with that here in just a second. So just for those of you that are brand new and watching my channel for the first time, my name is Patty, and I'm an empath, but I also am very intuitive. I have a lot of abilities, but my main ability is intuitive and also knowing. So a little clairvoyant, I guess they call it. I don't. I just say I know things. Don't ask me how I know them, but I know them. So I am not a psychic. I actually pull my information from the divine. The divine gives me information to share with somebody or walk alongside somebody. For example, when I first was an empath, I actually knew about people when they were getting ready to pass on into the next realm or die or whatever you want to call it. And I would never let anybody know that, but the divine would have me walk beside them. I even knew when my brother was going to be, I didn't know the exact date or time, but my brother was murdered, and I tried to stop that. And that was when I was very early empath. So some of those kind of things, but I also have other abilities. So I do intuitive tarot, and that is actually done through the divine or whoever he passes through, allowing me to hear them. And then I also do intuitive coaching, and I do life balance coaching. So for those of you that are brand new and watching my page for the first time, I do one-on-one coaching. I do one-on-one intuitive tarot. Intuitive coaching and tarot, I don't need the cards, but the cards just sort of help me figure things out as I go because there's symbols and signs in those. So if you want more information, I do have a full-blown website, and it's either on Get Balance 2020, or you can go Divine Warrior Intuitive, type it in, and it'll pop up. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to do a little bit of a recap. If you didn't watch the new moon video, don't worry about it. You can go back and watch it, but you don't have to. I'm going to do a real quick recap because the new moon is setting up for this huge, huge grand conjunction on the 21st. So those were energies that were ramping up. You might have felt a little bit uneasy, maybe unstable. It was like you really needed to go into yourself and try to get rid of some things to get these new energies ready for this conjunction. But the energies are not as powerful on that new moon as they are going to be on this conjunction. You're going to hear astrologers, astronomers, you're going to hear it all over the news for a while. Some people get the years wrong and all that kind of stuff, but bless their hearts, they're trying to get the word out that this is a really big thing. So I pull my information from several different sources along with my own research. And also what the divine shares with me, because I don't know what's coming up, but something in 3 months big is going to happen. My daughter always says, has it happened yet? Because the COVID, I knew something was coming up that January, and that meant that COVID was hitting the United States and all that. As soon as I heard the word COVID, I knew what divine was talking about. So I don't know what it is, guys, but something's going to happen big in the next 3 months, 3 to 4 months. So sort of keep an eye on that, because it's big. It's sort of like COVID big, kind of thing. So I don't know what it is, but definitely the divine's getting me prepared. And that's what's going on right now. I'm glad if you're watching now, because you can be proactive and start preparing yourself for the things to come, because this conjunction on the 21st is not just going to be a normal conjunction. It's going to be a one that lasts not only for a couple months like they normally do, or a year, or even a month or a couple of weeks like they normally do. This is going to last decades. decades. So we have to really be prepared. We're leaving Capricorn. We're going into Aquarius on the 21st. So, and things are ramping up this week. Actually, starting today, the 18th, you're going to start feeling different energies starting to happen. So why is this conjunction so big? Because it happens about every 20 years. However, the way that it has been preparing and getting aligned and aligning with the moon and the other planets, 800 years. So this is not going to happen again for approximately another 800 years. So remember, we had 3 conjunctions that happened this year that are actually sort of on the rare side. And that's what's sort of bringing up and leading up to this. The other big thing about this conjunction is 2 things. You're going to be able to see this from your own eyes. Get some binoculars. If the sky is clear, if you look from the southwestern right after the sun sets, you can see it right up to the southwestern sky, right like over the mountains. If you were in a mountainous area, just looking over the mountains, or maybe the mountains might be blocking it. However, you'll be able to see these 2 planets almost look like one planet. The reason why is these planets are going to be so close together. Saturn and Jupiter are going to be so close. So imagine this. I'll try to give you a vision. So the reason they are so close, you have to imagine that planets are massive, right? So we have the moon. So if you can imagine the moon and cutting it in half and putting that right between the 2 planets, that's how close they are. Less than 2,000 miles apart. Can you imagine the massive amount of energy between those 2 planets being bounced off between Saturn? That's why you'll see sort of Saturn at an angle. They're being bounced off. But then where are they going to bounce more? They're going to, it's like the ripple effect. So we're going to have the ripple effect of those energies. Huge, huge energies. What astrologers and astronomers are saying is that this is the changing of times. We are actually in creating history at this moment. At this very moment, this season in our time in 2020 and all this, it's not going to end. And I'll tell you here in a minute. But the thing is that we're in this season, this short season, that we are setting up history. So in 100 years or 50 years from now, even if we're be passed on. But the thing is, those generations will be talking about this time. The reason why we're like, yeah, but it's just a pandemic. It's not that big of a thing. The thing is, it is big. It's not that. It's creating a humongous, this energy that is coming in is, and when we say changing the ages, they'll say it changing the times. You know, this is revolution, this is change. What they're saying is it's changing of culture. 50 years from now, 100 years from now, and by the time the next one comes around, it will have already changed culturally. We are changing culturally. This is a huge age of cultural change, and it's going to change. There's no doubt about it. It is going to change. And they can see it scientifically. They can actually, the evidence can actually state from the 21st on, we are we're in a time where the pandemic is now. We're feeling the pandemic, the energies, we're feeling the pandemic. We're like, when is this going to end? When is this going to end? It's gradually ending. Here's the way to think about it. So the pandemic and these energies that we're feeling in Capricorn are really stagnated. Capricorn has kept us really stagnated and stuck. But now we're moving into Aquarius. So imagine if you're female, or if you're not female, well, that's okay too. But the Capricorn and this pandemic and this history that is being grown, we're in the beginning of a birth canal. So if you think about a birth, when somebody's having a baby and they say, well, the head is beginning to crown, that's more at the end. We're coming into the canal. So that head is just starting going into the canal. These have been extremely, extremely painful times, very painful times. And so that's where the contractions and everything are. I'm trying to give you a visual because some people might not understand this very well. So we're beginning to have contractions and that kind of a thing. You can also think of waves, how they come in and out of the ocean. They come in, they come out, they expand, they contract, that kind of a thing. But we're at the very beginning, the pandemic and everything that is happening. So now these energies that are coming into play on the 21st and moving forward in Aquarius, what's happening is we're moving down the canal. Are we out of the pandemic? Probably not for a while. You probably are not going to be, or you're going to hear a lot of that. The thing is, when we get towards the end of that, we are going to have all the repercussions of what the pandemic did. That's the energies for 21, 22, 23 from this eclipse. It's huge. It's huge. So you have to sort of look at this, and the reason why the evidence shows not only astrology or you know what I mean? I can't talk, but through the astronomers and astrology, it's also through our history. If you go back into the history of everything that's happening, 2020 is actually history, because this is the contraction, expansion kind of thing. So if we go through history, let me see if I can find my notes here. So, and I'm just going to do it really quick because it's boring. So like, if you think about history, when major things, hi Diane, welcome, welcome. If you think of history, when things began to really big in a big revolution time, these things happen about every 20 years when a conjunction like this happens. Although this is a grand conjunction, so this is even bigger. But like in the 20s, there was the Roaring 20s. In the 30s, there was depression. There was the Major Depression. In the 40s, there was World War and globalization. In the 50s, there was an expansion. So we're contracting and expanding. 2020, and I won't go through all of them, but there's major things that happened during these times. Pandemic, the racism, the systemic, that's happening. And there's a bunch of other things going on, our politics, the United States. But 2020 is in that expansion stage. We're in that expansion. So you sort of think of, one of the astrologers used the scenario of a snake. When they like eat a mouse or something, they have to move, they have to contract and expand. So we have to do that. So what's happening with the 21st and forward, we are moving into an air sign. We're having to move into an air sign. Hey, Felix, welcome. We're moving into an air sign, which is going to really, really change the essence of what we've been going on, because we've been actually in an earth sign for a while. So with that coming up, I've got so many notes. I just don't want to mess up for you guys or get you all confused. By the way, if you have any questions while I'm talking about this, or I'm confusing you about something, please, that's why I kept it a live chat. I definitely will answer your questions. And I'll get into the reading here in a little bit, but there's so much. There is so much. So I'll go from, actually, we've got a full moon coming on the 29th too. So I'm just going to do a brief scenario from the 21st through the 29th, because this is setting you guys up. This is time for you to be proactive, not only for yourself, your families and everything else, because what's going to happen towards the 21st is we are going to start arguing and bickering a little bit more, because the thing is that we're going to have a real difficulty in forgiving people. We're getting to this social point where we are not taking care of ourselves and we're listening to everything in distraction. A lot of the readings that I've done this last week, when we did the 21st, a lot of distractions. I'm telling everybody, and it's at the rock bottom. Some of you guys had a lot of rock bottom as your first oracle out. It's because we're ending of a time in a new age. That's literally what it is. We're ending an old age. This is a new age. Whether you people want to believe it or not, it's a new age. And that new age, people are going to have to be really taking care of themselves and be really mindful of themselves, because a lot of people will otherwise think they're egotistical. They're not. They're trying to take care of their own business. This is what we need to do to take care of ourselves, because if we don't take care of ourselves, and it's not a me, first we take care of ourselves, then we help our neighbor. That's the mentality that we need to do. However, majority of the people are going to have a real hard time and a difficult time forgiving. And that's going to be a really, really hard thing, because it's going to be really, really difficult, because we're not trained really to do that. We're trained differently. You know what? I don't like you. What do they call that now? Where they cancel? Cancel. What the frick is that? Cancel? It's like, okay, so why can't I understand that person's perspective of where they're coming from? If a lot of you guys watch my readings, you hear me talk about the roots of where everything starts from. Well, we got to either be able to be loving and kind and understand. The problem is when people forgive, they think that they still have to be included in their life. No, I forgive you, but I can't have you around me because you're toxic. I forgive you for what you did, but I can't be around you. That's toxic. So this is a huge thing that people are just not going to want to do that, because socially they're going to be listening to all this noise and they're going to become very judgmental. They're going to want their way. Their opinion is the best opinion. Really, it's going to become a little, and that's going to probably happen this coming up week. It's going to start. People are just trained differently. They're just trained differently. And the way that you're grown up. The thing is let me double check here. Yes. So what's really we have, one of the astrologers was talking about how we have so much serious work to do because we are not paying attention to what we read. We're actually going on reaction rather than being proactive. So we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of things that we panicked pretty much over the pandemic. We really didn't be proactive because nobody really knew what to do. So what's going to happen from these energies forward? Thank you. Okay. What's going to happen moving forward is that the old way, whatever you're doing in your life, and if something is not working, or if maybe a pattern has happened over and over again, it's time to change it. Because remember, this old age, and people are wanting to go back to that old age because we're so comfortable there. It's not coming back. It is not coming back. We have a new way of things, new companies, the social media, the way that we're being told media, and the way that we're actually being watched by the government and things like that. It is all going to change. Same with this vaccine, whether you're for it or against it. I'm not going to give my opinion, but these arms are going to stay clean. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, but the thing is that things are going to change. So people, like in the readings, some of them, if you're stuck in your ways, I'm an older person, and they call, I guess, my generation who complains Karens. So I'm not a Karen, I hope. But the thing is, I do have to be flexible and creative in change. And you have to see what is working. And if it's not, change it. And if it is working, see if you can grow it further. This is something the divine is telling me, not the cards. The divine is saying, you're going to need to be flexible. You're going to need to have the will of change. And humans don't like that. Humans don't like that. And I got goosebumps. And it's not going to be a survival of the fittest. It's going to be who can we come together and help after we've taken care of ourselves. Taking care of your body is going to be really, really important. Here's the thing, and this is, I don't do predictions, but this is sort of what the divine has shown me, is that in these future 21, 22, 23, medical care is going to be really hard to get into. It's almost like socialism, where you're going to have to wait and wait and wait to get in. And the only way that you're going to get in quickly is by an emergency room. Those kind of things. So if you're one to needing medical attention a lot, make sure your ducks are in a row for the next year, because there's going to be lines everywhere. There's going to be lines. It's not going to be the same like it was before. It's going to be like Disneyland and Disney World. Got to wait an hour, 90 minutes. But that's the way it's going to be. That's really the way it's going to be. These energies also on the 21st, 22nd, 23rd are going to bring a lot of interference. a lot of noise, a lot of vibrations. Remember how close these planets are? A lot of vibrations. It's almost like you can't hear yourself. So make sure that you go out into nature, go out and or do whatever it is to lift your vibrations. Even if you have to sit in your car alone quietly for a while, you know, whatever it is, you'll want to do that. The other thing that is going to really, really change, and it's going to be hard for us people that are creative, like me. The thing is that, you know how some people are just dreamers? They like to dream. Oh, I can dream of this. And those are mostly pipe dreams because you're dreaming of something and you don't take the action to do it. So it becomes a pipe dream. It's going to be really hard for us because the ideas of fantasy or illusions or delusions, we have to let those go, because moving forward we have to look at the facts and the evidence, and that's really, really hard. I'm not saying that we can't be creative. We have to be creative. That's a huge part of changing and flexibility. But for creative people, it's hard to step out of that imagination. And because when I talked in Get Balanced 2020, especially for people like entrepreneurs and stuff, you have to have a vision. You have to have a far out vision. Well, that far out vision, you're going to have to, if you're going to be creative, you have to look at the facts. It's sort of like, I don't know where you guys live. It's just, you know, we love to go to the movies. We love to watch, you know, the movies. We love to watch, you know, celebrities doing their thing, their job. Every movie theater around Portland area is shut down. And that's not because of COVID. It's because Regal Cinemas shut 500 down. No more theaters. So, okay, if I'm into that, then what is it that I can project maybe in 3 or 4 or 5 years, how that might change? Okay, it's probably going to be all on the computer. It's probably all going to be on TV, on these 5Gs. Oh, don't get me started about 5G. Oh, my Lord. Keep me off of 5G, please. Keep me off of 5G, because being criminal justice and research and deep research stuff outside of our government, I wish you knew what I knew. Anyway, so those kind of things, you're going to have to just sort of think of fact and evidence. What's going to be in 2-3 years? Like travel. How are we going to be traveling in 2-3 years? Are we going to have a vaccine to travel? And they're talking about that. If you want to travel on an airplane, because I'm in the travel industry, that you may have to have a vaccine to get on that plane. Anyway, those kind of things, you have to think about those. And that's why being proactive right now and thinking about your future, thinking about your journey and all that kind of stuff in the future is going to be really, really big. So, oh my gosh, things, okay. And then too, you have to look at, it's not only our lives, but it is our earth changing. And a lot of people say, oh yeah, well, you know, it's like the greenhouse effect and all that kind of stuff. The thing is that it is changing. Our polar north is shifted so much that they have to be frequently changing the GPSs for the airplanes to land, so that they can land at the airport and not a field next door. So our earth is changing. Our magnetic is changing. The solar flares on the sun are becoming massive and more frequently. So these things, and this is happening now as we speak. So it's like the destabilization in our energy fields is changing. We just have to sort of look at that. So what does this mean for you guys and me? Is we need to be proactive and go inward. Also too, this is sort of off but the other energy that is going to change is that the Hierophant is for 2021. And for 2021, you're going to see a shift in people's mind thinking and in their mindset, that they actually are going to be questioning spirituality. They're going to be wanting to know more about it, because things of the earth are falling apart. Our governments are falling apart. Our cultures are falling apart. Everything is beginning to fall apart. again, we're moving into the repercussions of what the virus did and all that happened around the world, not just in the United States, around the world. We all are going to have to feel the repercussions. Now you've got the conspiracy theorists, or even maybe they're not even conspiracy theorists, coming out saying, yeah, they wanted everybody to die. I won't go into that, but there's some. Remember, I research and study criminal justice, and I study that stuff. When the divine says study it, I study it. So there is sort of a truth to that. But the thing is, those are all going to change, and we're going to feel that repercussion. So how are you going to think forward in your journey and the energies that are going to be happening? How do you want your life to turn around? This is the most perfect time to be creative in not only what you want to do and grow. So for me, being a business owner, when I closed my business in 2016, after late 2006, after 17 years, I thought that was the end of it. Yeah, I have my customers that I still keep. I like to do my leather work, and my horses and all that kind of stuff. So I sort of kept that, but little did I know, in the pandemic, I'd lose my job and I would have to recreate that company and resume it from the ashes again. So this is a thing that for me, and I'm 61. So, I need something for my future, what I'm going to do. Because now I personally have to think, okay, in 2-3 years, where am I going to be and what am I going to do and how am I going to do it? At my age, they don't want to hire me, for one, for my age. For two, I'm overqualified for a lot of things. They'd have to pay me more, right? So they would rather get somebody and pay them $13, $14, $15 an hour. I can't survive on that. So the thing is, I have to be creative along with everybody else and say, okay, in maybe I need to retire in 2 or 3 years. And how am I going to do that? How am I going to support myself? These are just ideas, something to help you with. But this is where you should be thinking, how am I going to do this? Inward thoughts, inward thinking, understanding yourself at this point and where you want to move forward. So one of the astrologers was talking about think cosmically, which meant to be thinking act locally, but we also must think of ourselves individually. So we want to think locally. We cannot go and think big world. That's going to be too spooky, too scary. And it's going to be changing so much. Even the politicians and everybody aren't even going to know what to do. Nobody really is going to know what to do, because they've messed up so bad, and so many people, it's going to culturally change, whether they like it or not. People are going to come together. People are really going to fight. And it's, again, the astrologers and the astronomers is calling this a revolution time. We are making history, for those of you that came in late. So, and also too, Capricorn, which is the area we're moving out of on the 21st or the 20th, and then the 21st. So Capricorn is all about old and inequality. It's all about corporations. It's all about institutions. It's all about government. That's where Capricorn is. Now we're moving into Aquarius on the 21st, and that's more about equality, community, collaboration together. This is where you're going to see a big shift. So doing things alone, it's going to be hard for you to do them alone anymore. We need to pull it together. We need to figure out how to pull together. And that's not just me saying it. That's what the planets, that's what everything is showing, the energies. And it's not the energies right now. This is the energies of the history of the planets from when they, thousands of years ago. I mean, this has been setting up. This has been a setup. All right. Let's see what else. If anybody has any questions, this is a really good time, because I'm about ready to go into a reading here. I just want to hit one more point. So just remember, the full moon is coming in on the 29th, and then that full moon is going to carry over the energies for this as well. And the conjunction will be done by then. But I had a note on the 29th. There was something special on the 29th, and I don't remember it. Okay. Yeah, the moon's moving into Saturn between the 16th and 17th. That's already happened. So Chiron's actually a stationary planet. And so what that's happening on is that it's going into healing. And again, there's going to be a lot of healing. I think it was a couple of your readings actually had a lot of healing in them. Healing the ouch, other different things. So this is a healing time. This is a reflection time, a self-examination time. This is proactive time. This is something that you really want to be thinking about. And if you're married or if you're with somebody and you're planning to move forward with them, this is a time for you to really communicate what you want, what you need, and not leave anything off the table. This is a time to really get down to the nitty and gritty. And if they're supposed to be in your life at this time, then this is a time to share it. You know, if you're married or with somebody, you should be able to share every skeleton in your closet, and they love you anyway. If you can't do that, and if you have to walk on eggshells what you say around them, then definitely it's then, you know, I would second guess, you know, are they really the partner that I'm supposed to be with? All right. So I'm going to pull, right now, I might pull another card or two. So on the 21st, I'm pulling the energy for the 21st. And it's very interesting. And then I'm going to pull energy for the rest of the week, and then one for the full moon. All right. So, and then I'll go into the cards and see what they got to say. So we have Protecting Treasure is our first card. Now, many of you who have watched me before, Protecting Treasure is about your heart. Again, this is what the energies are saying about yourself. Really looking at yourself. What is it that you really want? Not playing games. Sorry, if you're a guy, stop playing the boy games. If you're a girl, stop playing the girl games. Be a grown man, be a grown woman. Say what you need, go what you want. You want a booty call, you go with a booty call. You want a long-term relationship, go with that, okay? But stop playing games. This is not a time to play games anymore. It really, really isn't. So, and then we have the number 3, acknowledging. So numerology is acknowledging your heart, acknowledging what you want, where you want to go, what you want to do, who you want in your garden circle, who you want to get out of your garden circle, weed that garden kind of a thing. All right. So that's the energy for the 21st, the conjunction day. Okay. So then we have for this week, we have Coming to Life. I can't make this up. You saw me shuffle. Okay. And then we also have the number 2. So the number 2 is about balance, getting balance in your life. You guys, you got holidays coming up this week. You got chances again of those interfering energies, distractions to bring up kerfuffles, to bring up fights, to bring up arguments and that kind of thing. Be the person not to allow that to happen, because that is just, it's destructive energy. It's low vibrational energy, but it's happening. It's already happening. Because I can even feel it. Whenever we have something major, and I don't know why, but the full moon and the new moons in these last 2 months, I'm a blubbering idiot. It's like, why am I crying? You know, it's why am I so upset? Why am I? And then about 2-3 days after, or the full or new moon, then I'm fine. I'm good to go. It's crazy. I don't know what the divine's doing. He just keeps opening really weird doors for me. Okay, so this is going to be the full moon energy. Dry desert. So the dry desert, this is the full moon. Okay, so the full moon dry desert is the number 4, working on stability. See, we're moving up here. We're moving. I mean, these all work together. These all go in line. So the dry desert is about something happening. There's nothing there. You don't have the tools that you need, but however, something's happening underneath that sand, something's going on, and the reason being is that there's the green in the cactus up there. The reason why there's green in the cactus is there's water down below. Where is it? Or maybe it stored itself full of water. Cactuses do that. But the thing is, where did that resource come from? This is being proactive. The cactus is being proactive, filling itself up with water. Thank you. This is not mine, it's theirs. Filling up with water so that it can be ready for whatever comes. That is what the divine is telling. Please prepare yourself for whatever comes. You know, have your ducks in order. You know, if you need to save finances, if you need to, you know, get your health taken care of, if you need to do that kind of stuff, this is the time to do it. All right. So let's see for the 21st. I'm going to pull a couple cards for the 21st. And the other thing too is, thank you. So I don't know if they asked me to mention this. I don't know if you guys know what this is. But here in the States, we have an organization called CERT, C-E-R-T. And they're asking me to talk about this for a second. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but so CERT, I can't remember. It's an acronym. If you look it up, I think it's C.E.R. whatever. Anyway, it's I took a sheriff's training once for I think nine weeks, and this was part of the program. Now the CERT thing is, if there was no firemen available, if there were no police available, how are you going to protect your home? What are you going to do? And if the gas station and the gas pumps are all not working, and you've got a car full of gas, but that's it, because they're going to give the gas to the firemen and the first responders first, and then what are you going to do? And if something were to happen and you had to leave your house, where would you go? How would you stay? You know, do you have a tent, or what's your plan? Do you have a bag ready to go, you know, for emergencies? Do you have stockpile? Do you know how to make a temporary toilet? You know, those kind of things. They would talk about that, and they would say, you know, and it really makes you think, because, oh yeah, if something did happen, like, you know, my house was on fire, where would I go? What would I do? Or if everybody had to leave their houses and evacuate, where would we go? What would we do? We had that here in Oregon with the fire. With so many fires, so many people had to evacuate. It was so sad. So the divine's saying, this is the kind of preparation I want you to be ready for. Don't ask me what's going on. I'm just the conduit. Okay, so our first three cards for the 21st. So we have the Knight of Swords, we have the Six of Swords, and then we have the Queen of Pentacles. So with the Knight of Swords, there is either a message or something coming in fast. This is for the 21st. It is coming fast. We're ending an age. We're bringing in a new one in one day. That is coming fast. However, there might be something else for your journey. Something may be happening that day. Could be that day or the day before or day after, maybe tomorrow or let's see, today's the 18th, 19th. So the 20th, maybe the 21st. Something's going to happen quickly that day for somebody, or a message is going to come quickly that day. The other thing is that there is travel involved. And of course, it's the week of Christmas. Now, maybe you're getting a message, somebody's coming to you, maybe somebody's going somewhere. However, there is going to be travel, at least within those few days. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles. Now, the Queen of Pentacles for the 21st, she's all about finances and knowing about finances. And so whatever's in your journey, there's something going on with the shifting of finances. And we know that during the holidays, people give money, they get money, that kind of thing. It's not that kind of money. There's shifting of finances. Now, that may be something to do with your work. That may be something to do with changing jobs. That may be something to do with the future. Somebody may give you this message. Hey, this has happened before, where you might have a situation where somebody comes and says, hey, how would you like this job? But you would have to relocate. Could be something like that. Or, hey, I was planning on traveling, in the spring. If you have your finances together, would you like to go with me? Those kind of things. Those are just hypothetical. Those are kind of things that could be happening within those 2 days. But thank you. So they're saying that with this energy, you need to keep moving forward. Don't look backwards. So again, we're moving into Aquarius, and that's what they're saying is, you know, you got to put what all that was not working, or you have to learn to be letting go of some of the ways that we were doing things. They're saying that you need to keep moving forward. Thank you for that. And it's like I said, it's an extremely unstable day, a couple unstable days. Thank you. So somebody's finances, whatever you're doing with them, hold on to them for a little bit. People that want to do something, you know, what do you call that? You know, luxury kind of a thing, more of a really nice want. It's not a time to do that right now because I don't know what's coming up, but they're saying to hold on to your funds. Trust me, I'm not giving up any of my funds right now because I have no idea what's going to be happening. All right. Oh, thank you. So we're going to move to the energies for the week itself, up until the 29th and coming to life. So we are now in the Aquarius, so that is going to be happening. And that is something up until the 29th. Yes, yes, yes. They can be so funny. It's so funny. It's not funny though. It really isn't. I can relate to this here. Let me get the third card. And I'll share it. Yeah. So we have the 5 of Cups. We have the 7 of Pentacles. And then we have the Hermit. What that means, okay, some people are going to have a really hard time letting go of the old ways. Here's the thing. With the 5 of Cups, they're so focused on what they had. We really wish it could be like the old ways. We really want this to be this way. It's going to, for some of you, it's going to be really hard that you're just going to fight it tooth and nail. You cannot even see the good things that are still there. You cannot, you're facing the other way. You're facing backwards. You need to be turning that puppy around and facing the other way. You need to be focusing in on, but here's the thing. I can relate to this because for some of you that are maybe business owners, have worked really hard to build something, to grow something, you're overseeing this and you're saying, I've worked so hard. The blood, the sweat, the tears, the investment, the finance, whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be that you're a business owner. It could be something that you put all your heart and sweat into. It doesn't even need money, but you're overlooking it. And that's what's really hard to let go. But know that this is a season and a time for something to actually end. And something new to begin, because you've got the Hermit, and the Hermit knows what you put into this for this time. And you know what, the divine does not look at, okay, it's 2020 is ending and 2021's beginning. You know, they don't even know time. And the universe doesn't give a crap about time. The universe gives energies and frequencies and vibrations and things like that. That's all that matters. We as humans go by, okay, at the end of 2020, I'm going to have, a resolution, and I'm going to do this. Don't do resolutions. You're setting yourself up. Don't do that. Set goals and then mindfully work towards those goals. But that's what this is about. So the Hermit's overlooking. That's divine. This is divine. This is overlooking. And divine does know all the hard work that you put into it. But the thing is, we're in the desert. This is the 29th. This is leading up to the 29th. He sees it. You can feel it. You can grieve it, but you got to let it go. You grieve. People think, well, you don't grieve. I grieved when I closed my business. That was my baby. You grieve because this is something you built up, something you have done, or a career that you have. And then all of a sudden you got to change careers. There is grieving in that. Grieving is not just for human beings. We grieve for our animals. We grieve for the loss. Maybe you bought a nice car and you took care of it really good and you got in a wreck and it's gone. You're grieving something. And that's a process. Again, that's a process. We do need to know that. But he also knows what's going on behind the scenes that we cannot see, which we're moving into with the full moon. And remember, from the new moon to the full moon, it's all about letting go. And we're at a conjunction, letting old ways go, new ways come in, new thought patterns. If you were one to think negative all the time, try changing your mindset to more of a, and I can't say a positive, just for a different way of thinking to be able to go forward. Because a lot of people, even therapists and stuff, will say, well, negative and positive, that's not really a thing. It's just the way that people can think and see something. But the thing is that you want to work in a manner for whatever it is that you're moving forward with your journey, not going backwards. Or actually, another thing too with this new energy is you don't want to repeat the cycle, because this is a cycle that needs to go away. It's done. Capricorn, the stagnation and everything is done. So we need to make it go away. So if you don't make something go away, or if you don't sacrifice something, or if you don't feel the pain of something, how can you allow something good, new, come into your energies and your vibrations? How can you bring room? There's no room. It's like if you had a mouthful of marbles and you're like, and then you're like, well, I got to try to fit another one in, and you can't. What do? You got to spit out a couple marbles to put more marbles in. Why am I using that as a scenario? Maybe somebody else understands it. I don't know. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's see what the new moon or the full moon energies are. We know that we're working more towards underlying things ourselves. We're working on inner selves and unbiased self-examination. That's what we really need to be doing. Unbiased self-examination. All right? Because we are having new things come to life. And if you're going to do like, it's sort of like people who go to therapy and then they don't be honest, or they don't share stuff that they need to share. How can somebody help you if you're not going to be open and honest about what the issues are? Coming to light. Something's coming new. Something fresh and new. What is it that you want to come? Thank you. They're also saying bring it to you. Bring it to you. So if you want love, you give love. Bring it to you. Or law of attraction. Bring it to you. If you want people to be kind to you, you need to be kind to them. You don't tell them you're a freaking asshole and then you want them to be nice to you. You have to, that's a big part of this. What is it that you want to draw to you in 2021? What is it that you want to draw to your life? Thank you. Not just your life, the people around you, because whatever you do, say, affects, is there two? Affects everybody around you. When I teach to Get Balanced 2020, I mean, people don't realize how much whatever they do, the consequence does not only affect you, it affects those that are around you. And I could give you a story about some things that I did in the past, and I'm like, I didn't think it would affect you. Oh, it affected not only that person, but a few other people around them. So glad I've changed. Okay. So, okay, we got 4 cards. So the first card for the full moon is the Two of Cups. So there's some new energies coming together. It means two people. Two people coming together. These are really balanced energies. Again, the number 2 is about balance and bringing things together. So somebody looks like the divine's working behind the scenes, maybe to bring 2 people together. And then we have the stars, definitely. There is something good coming, good energies being brought together. And then we have the Knight of Swords. This is going to be, and then we have the Five of Swords. So it's a very, very good energy coming. And it's a good match. This is for somebody. There's for one energy. That or this coming together it's a brand new beginning. It's like somebody's introducing somebody to somebody. And this is a very divine intervention because there's a lot of truth. There's a lot of integrity. There's a lot of morals for somebody. Now, for those of you that don't have that coming to you, there is going to be balance coming towards your life that has been completely off balance. Because when we look at this, we look at the balance. Okay, number 2 is for balance. And number 4 on the desert is about stability. So if you are being proactive in thinking and planning and doing the steps, not just talking is caca. If you actually work on the steps of getting there, of whatever it is for your journey for, say, 21, 22, because it is going to change through those times, then you're being proactive and you're getting balance. What are you going to, and here's the thing, with the full moon, here's what it's saying. What are you doing for your mind? What are you doing for your heart? What are you doing for your spirit? What are you doing for your body? In fact, I think one of the astrologers was saying that. Thank you. For the planets as well. What are you doing? What is the progression that you are going to do? What is your plan? That is the full moon. That is also the 21st energies. What are you going to do? What is your plan? Or are you just going to talk the talk and never walk the talk? This is something for you now to get proactive. And it's like, the energies with the astrologers and everything, it's very interesting. If you haven't watched, there's Pam, I can't remember, she's from England. There's a couple really good ones out there. Rick Levine, he's sort of different. I love him though, because I've known him for many, many years. I mean, watched him for many, 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 many years, since the 80s. But he's a master astrologer. And it's just, they're serious about this changing of age. And it is going to be intense. Again, there's going to be waves of confusion, and then it's going to relax. Waves of revolution, and then it's going to relax. Waves of cultural change, uproar, going to relax. And this is not, I'm repeating myself, but this is not just for this year. That's why you need to prepare yourself for your journey and everything for the future years, and for your kids and for your grandkids, how you want them to how you want them to react and act within different people, different cultures, different things. This is about a cultural upheaval, a cultural revolution, not just the pandemic. But we are going to have a lot of things fall in the United States. I mean, I'm not psychic, but our government is, in 4 years, is not going to be the same as it is now. And it's not because of Trump leaving. It's just because this all happened for a reason. I mean, he became president for a reason. But the other thing, too, is not only that, it's almost like a falling. And then something has to rise out of the ashes. That's the energy we're feeling for this 21st. I just hope people, to be honest, in all seriousness, I just really hope people go inside themselves and really look what they want for their journey and their future, and where they need to change and grow, because it's going to be really, really hard if you don't. And if you do, it's still hard because you have to go through all of that. But when you come out on the other side, when you come out the birthing canal, And that's where where this stuff comes from. This is really painful for somebody to have to look at all the stuff they're done and lose it. So many businesses have closed, it's really hard to watch that, and that's the birthing canal. But there's something beautiful that the divine has on the other end for you. It's time for that change, or time for that season to end and a new season to begin. And it's hard. It's really hard. It's hard to do self-examination, to look at your shadow work. I didn't want to bring that up, but it is a lot of shadow work coming up. If you got to look at your dark side, or why you're doing some of the destructive things to yourself that you're doing. I was even doing that the other night as I was having a beer. I was like, wow, why do I do this? Why do I, what is it? Then I'm in the same boat as you. I have to look at my shadow work and what I need to better and also face some of my demons. Sometimes those old demons, when I was sexually abused as a kid, sometimes they surface. And then that actually is how I make my decisions. And that's going backwards. We can't do that. So I hope this was helpful. I did not expect it to be this long, but and if you want to watch this again and again or share it, that would be really great. If you haven't liked, shared, subscribe, I would love for that. There is still so much I wasn't able to go into, but I would encourage you to watch, like Rick Levine about the conjunction. He gets really into it, though. I mean, he talks about the angles and when the planets are at 26 degrees. A lot of them do. You sort of have to go over that. But it's very, very interesting. But also, too, do your own research and what you want for your journey. And if you ever need any coaching, please contact me. If you need to email me, you have a question. I had somebody contact me from New York and say they were having questions about their own intuition and how they grow it. Email me. I will respond. I would love to do that. Or if you want a one-on-one tarot, intuitive tarot. Now, I can do an intuitive session without tarot, and I can do it with tarot. But I have to do it on a Zoom, or I have to do it face to face. I have to get those energies. I have to be able to, I'm an empath. I have to be able to see that so I can read the energies, feel the energies, and actually get the full picture of what's going on. So a lot of my stuff is done through Zoom or, FaceTime, that kind of thing, wherever you're at in the world. But I hope you enjoyed this. And I'm not going to do a full moon at the end of the month because I sort of covered it here. Wasn't planning on to, but what the divine says, I just do. I guess he's got something else coming up the end of the month that I'm supposed to be doing, just sort of like those 2 videos on when you ask me if they're coming back, or diversity or destiny versus purpose. So those were, he said in the morning, he said, I want you to do these. And I'm like, I'm busy today. Do them. So I do them. So you'll see me pop on like that. All right. So yeah, thank you for popping in, Felix. I really appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. Please be safe. Please be proactive. Think about what you want for your future. And I hope you have a restful week and a great time. I did through the 21st. So I'll see you again next week on the 28th. All right. Take care, everybody. Happy holidays.